Hello, everyone. Good morning, good morning, and welcome to this session today on building your brand and applying for jobs. It's all about learning how you can build your brand. Now, this time around, I would say it's your own personal brand. So, we're going to learn how you can build your brand and apply for jobs. My name is Tony, and I'm a lead coach at Upskill Digital. We're good with Google Delivery partners right here in Sub-Saharan Africa. And I'm not just here alone today. I have my colleague by the live chat. His name is Emmanuel, and he's going to be helping out with your questions. So please feel free, head over to the live chat and engage with Emmanuel. He's actually a good friend and a great guy as well. So go on to the live chat and engage with Emmanuel. I know he's going to be introducing himself right now. So feel free to ask your questions as we progress in this session. There are no wrong answers as well, because I am going to be asking questions also. But just so we're clear, there are no wrong answers. We're just going to be having answers today. So today's topic is a very, very interesting one. It's all about learning how you can build your brand and apply for jobs. So we're going to be guiding you through some best practices on how you can build your personal brand and also how you can craft that CV of yours and cover letter. Right now, I would love to appeal to everyone to please head over to the live chat and introduce yourself. I would love to meet you. Emmanuel as well would love to meet you. So please head over to the live chat and introduce yourself. Tell us your name. Tell us where you're joining from. Would love to meet you. And also, I understand it's winter season in South Africa right now. So you could please give us a weather situation report. How's the weather where you're joining from? Are you in Limpopo? We're partnering with Univent today, which is in Limpopo. So are you over there? How's the weather? How are you keeping warm? It's really chilled and very cold. So you head over to the live chat and let us know what's happening in your area, your name, and also you could tell us what you're looking to gain from this session today, which is all about learning how you can build your brand and apply for jobs. So let's have that quick icebreaker. Head over to the live chat. Tell us your name, where you're joining from, and also give us that weather situation report. How are you? How's it the winter season over there where you are? And I'm just going to proceed and introduce the agenda for today while I look out for those interesting contributions from you all. But before we go over the agenda, today's session is delivered in partnership with the University of Venda. That's Univen, and the University of Venda is a public institution based in Tohoyandou in the Limpopo province. So this is a rural-based university. However, through their ICT initiatives, they aspire to be the leading university in bringing cutting-edge technologies. So the ICT department at the university is very eager to bring technology-based projects that would drive the institution towards its strategic objective of being an entrepreneurial university. And also the university aspires to partner with institutions, organizations, or even individuals who share their vision and have the interest of the youth and the country at large. So we're very excited to be partnering with the University of Venda. That's Univen. Very excited to be partnering with them today to deliver this session on building your brand, your personal brand, and applying for jobs. I'm really excited about this, and I'm so excited to meet you all. I see people introducing themselves already. Naho, joining from Limpopo. You all are very welcome. I see Shifura also joining from the University of Venda, which is in Limpopo. So you all are very welcome. Let's make this very interactive. Let's make this very engaging. Whenever there's a question, I would love you to please engage. I've told you this time around, this is not a classroom. I mean, this is on YouTube, right? So I would say this is in no way a classroom. So there are no wrong answers here. I do not have any pen today to mark, okay, this is good, or I'm not scoring anyone today. Let's just have fun, learn, and make the most of this experience this morning or today. No wrong answers. It's not a classroom. Tony here, Emmanuel over there on the live chat. We are not the professor here. I mean, we're just here to help today. So let's have a good one. Mascot, everyone joining, Jonathan, you all are very welcome. And I would love us to keep this energy going on. A lot is happening on the live chat right now. I see Jonathan joining in from Lagos, wherever it is you're joining in from. And Jonathan also wants to learn how to build his brand. Wherever you're joining from, whether in South Africa, whether in across Africa, wherever you're joining from, Lagos, Nigeria, Kenya, Limpopo, you all are very welcome. So let me just dive into this and introduce the agenda for today, which is starting with managing your digital footprints on social profiles. How do you manage your digital footprints on social profiles? So we'll be walking you through what a digital footprint is and also sharing tips with you on how you can manage your social profiles as well. Manage these footprints of yours on social profiles. Then we'll move over to writing professional CVs. Of course, yeah, your CV, it's always good for your CV to stand out. So we're going to walk you through how you can create that or craft that professional CV that's going to help you land that dream job of yours. And we'll also be wrapping it up with how you can craft cover letters. So how can you create those interesting cover letters that will back up that CV of yours and also help you propel you further towards achieving that goal of yours, which is to secure that dream job of yours, right? So a lot on the agenda today. Three very interesting sections on the agenda today, and I'm very excited to dive in and explore. So who's as excited as I am? Let's move right into this. And remember, whenever there's a question, we do not have wrong answers, we just have what? Answers. I would choose not to call them answers at this point. I would rather call them contributions. So no answers today, we just have contributions. Let's get going. And speaking about questions, I have one right here now. Which social media channels do you currently use? I believe this should be the easiest. I believe everyone is on one social media platform or another. So which channels do you currently use? Are you using Facebook? Are you using Instagram? Maybe, I don't know. Just guessing. So you head over to the chat and let us know what social media channels are you currently using. Emmanuel is right there to engage with you while I just dive into the first section for today, which is managing your digital footprint and social profiles. That's the first item on the agenda for today. Also following this up with another question. What do you think your digital footprint is? Have you ever heard of this? Digital footprints, it really does matter. So what do you think your digital footprint is? Are these footsteps? You have that nice shoe and you're leaving some marks walking around on the internet. So you tell me, what do you think your digital footprint is? What do you think it is? Go over to the live chat, drop those contributions. Remember, they are not answers. No one is marking good, wrong. We just have contributions today. So you go over to the live chat and share that with us. Let's know what you understand by this the digital footprint. Anyone contributes? Drop that on the live chat. Let's get going. So a digital footprint is your digital footprint is all the stuff you leave behind as you use the internet. Every single thing you're leaving behind as you use the internet. That is your digital footprint. Now, it's part of your online history and it can potentially be seen by other people as well. You're not the only one who can see this. Others can as well see this. So every single thing you're doing, your online activities, all the stuff you leave behind as you use the internet, that's your digital footprint. I asked initially what social platforms you were on. You could be on Instagram, you could be on Facebook, you could be on LinkedIn, like Shifura was on Facebook and Instagram. You've been leaving digital footprints there. Mascots is also on IG, Twitter, and Facebook. You've been leaving footprints as well as every other person who's on one or two other social media platforms right here. You have been leaving footprints on these social media platforms, and it cannot just be seen by you alone. Others can as well see this. So how do we leave digital footprints? Through social media, of course, through likes, retweets, comments, and all. Through that, you're leaving records right there. We can also leave digital footprints through using digital devices. Some apps, websites, and all would collect information about your login details and your habits and all. Also, you can leave digital footprints through online shopping. Leaving reviews whenever you head over to that favorite online store of yours or that e-commerce site. You leave a review. Maybe you got this today. You leave a review right there. And you're also leaving behind cookies on your system. And this would, through this, you can be tracked and brands are able to offer you retargeted ads, and also you're leaving footprints through a whole lot of ways. Online shopping activities, every single activity you are actually doing online, you are leaving footprints. Whether on social media, using that app, leaving reviews and all, you're actually leaving footprints right there. So what comes up when you search for your name on search engine? Has anyone done this? This is an activity I would want you, if it's something you've never done before, I would love you to try this right now. What comes up when you search for your name on search engine? I do this a whole lot. I always go, I mean, once in a while or often I just try and go over, search for my name and say, oh, and if you've never done this, you likely search for your name and see, oh, when did I post this? Wow, what's this here? I mean, I'm on this site. Why? Oh, maybe you can't remember. You left a comment right there at some point, and you're like, oh, this was a comment you left 10 years ago or even 12 years ago. And this might be something you're not really comfortable with anymore. Maybe your views have changed as regards to that topic. But heading over searching, you are still saying, okay, comment you left on this topic, and it's still very, very visible, especially on search engines. So always good to do this every now and then. Often just go over search engine, search for your name, and see what's going to show up. So always make sure you're doing this. So has anyone tried this here? So I mean, you could just head over right now and do this and tell us what pops up. Head over to that search engine, Google search, of course. Head over, search for your name, and see what comes up. That way, you're going to see. It's going to give you an idea of what your digital footprint is. So I would encourage everyone to do this. If you're not going to do it now, always good to make sure you're doing this, and do not just do it this month and say, oh yeah, it's fine. Because I mean, you leave footprints every day, and tomorrow you might leave a footprint, and maybe next month you're not comfortable with that anymore. It's always good to have that look. And currently, over 70% of employers use social media to screen candidates during the hiring process. Talking about footprints, now we're saying that 70% of employers use social media to screen candidates during the hiring process. They're leaving footprints online, and now employers are using social media. Over 70% of employers are using social media to screen candidates during the hiring process. So a whole lot of you are on Instagram right now, like I can see on the chat. A whole lot of you are on Facebook. A whole lot of you are on Twitter. Employers are going to, over 70% of employers would check these platforms to see your activities, and this would form part of the screening process for you. What's that trying to tell you? Leave good footprints. So let's get going. How employers use social media. So 58% would use that to check out your likes, retweets, and comments you've been leaving, all the records you have on this social media platform. So it's always good and advisable if you could adjust your privacy settings on social media. I know some people who have it set on Twitter that you cannot retweet. I know some people who whatever they share is only visible to their friends. On Facebook, you cannot share this. A whole lot of settings you could adjust right there. So just so we're clear, 58% of employers would go on and look at your likes, your retweets, and the comments, and or just trying to see that record you are leaving while you are surfing using the social media platforms. And also 50% would use social media to ensure that candidates have a professional online personal brand. Remember, the topic for today is building your brand and applying for jobs. You yourself are a brand. These days, brands, organizations are not just looking out to hire people for the sake of hiring. They are looking at hiring people who would also align with their company culture and all. So your personal brand really does matter. And employees right now are seen as advocates and ambassadors of brands they work with or they work for. So a brand like XYZ brand would want to associate with someone or want to employ someone who they feel, okay, yeah, this person can actually represent us well. This person has a very good professional brand already established on social media. So I mean, this is something they are looking out for. 50% are looking out on social media. Employers are looking out on social media to ensure that candidates have that professional online personal brand. 34% are also using social media to check what other people are posting about the candidates. 34% of employers are using social media to check what other people are posting about you. And it's easy to do this. I could just head over to Twitter and type your name. I could head over, even use Google, I'll tell you. I could head over to Instagram and maybe type your name, or even on Facebook and type your name, and I see what others are saying about you. Also, you see, I would use Instagram as an example. Visiting your profile, if it's open, I could see those who have tagged you. So maybe someone has tagged you and left a review. Oh, this person actually did this when he or she was working for me and did this. And, they have the ability to see what others are saying about you. So 34% of employers are using social media to check what others are posting about a candidate. 50% are using social media to ensure that that candidate has that professional online personal brand, and 58% are just checking for your activities and records you've left using social media. Now, this is leading us to how you can manage this digital footprint of yours, because we've said a lot about digital footprint, what it is, defining it as being the stuff you leave behind as you surf the internet or you use social media platforms and all, even apps, leaving reviews and all. Now, how do you manage this digital footprint of yours? One way to do this is you could start off by cleaning the content. But I'll tell you, especially when you're applying for a job, it's not ideal for you to apply for a job, and the next thing you do is to go on Twitter, you clean out every single thing on your profile. Go on Instagram, you clean out every single thing about your profile. Go on Facebook, clean everything on your LinkedIn. It's totally mean, and I mean it's going to make it's actually suspicious. So visiting your social platform and I see, oh, no single activity on Instagram, Facebook. Yeah, there are people who do not actually post on this platform. So that's still very understandable, but it's actually suspicious when you do not know if they've checked this before, and a day to the interview, you go on and wipe everything. What are you trying to hide doing that? So when it comes to cleaning up your content, this could be something you posted and it doesn't actually refer to going and cleaning every single thing you've done online because you're actually applying for this job. It could be, which is why we asked the question, or we had the activity where we encourage you to check, Google your name and see what's going to come up. So you do this every now and then, and okay, you have this, you posted this maybe 5-10 years ago. I do this as well, and I'm like, I'm not really comfortable. This view I know better now, and this is not a view I still hold. So I could delete that, clean it up. Also, think before you click. There's this quote I found on a book. It goes this way. I'm just paraphrasing here. If you're not comfortable having it on a billboard, do not post it. If you're not comfortable having it right there on a billboard in front of the university, Univen, you're not comfortable having it on the billboard in front of, the biggest billboard right there in Limpopo, think before you click. You're not comfortable having that displayed to everyone right there on a billboard. Actually, think before you do click. So there's also this rule of thumb right there online or in the world of marketing. Whenever in doubt, do not post. When you are in doubt, you want to post this and you're having doubts, you're not sure. Is this a good picture? Is this a good thing to say? Is this a sensitive topic and this is actually an insensitive comment? You actually do need to think before you click. Update your privacy. So you could want to head over to platforms. We'll be looking at this as well, like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Go over to the settings and adjust your privacy settings. You could leave this to, only your friends can see what you're tweeting or what you're posting. Any way you want. It's your own platform. It's your own channel. You could adjust the privacy settings the way you want. Analyze your current footprint. Always do that search. Check what's showing up on search. What you cannot find on search today, tomorrow might be very visible on search. Something you posted we know how SEO works. Something which might not be ranking or showing up on search. Something you posted a whole maybe 2-3 years back. Tomorrow it could be on search, which is why it's always good. Every now and then, make sure you go back, analyze your footprints, do that Google search for your name, see what's showing up. Especially doing this on search, it's very important because if you are, and let's put ourselves in the shoes of HR leads and all HR specialists. If you're an HR person, what's the first point, or what channel would you use first off when you're trying to have that overview, get more insight on a candidate? Likely you'd head over to search. So let's have that at the back of our mind, and always try as much as possible to search for your name, analyze that digital footprint of yours, and see what you might want to clean up. Always post positive content. When you are sure you're posting positive content, you have nothing to be afraid of. It's always, we call it positive vibes. So it's always positive vibes from you. Always positive vibes from you. You have nothing to hide. You're applying for a job. You do not need to go back and say, what do I need to clean on my Instagram? What tweet did I make? I think I tweeted about this company 2 years back and I said this about them and now I'm applying. if you're someone who's very, very positive and you're always posting positive content, you have nothing to worry about. So these are some of the ways you can manage your digital footprint by posting positive content, analyzing your current footprint, updating your privacy settings, thinking before you click, and of course cleaning up that content every now and then. How do you change your privacy settings? You could just, if you're using Facebook, go on settings, privacy and settings tools, and you have it right there. You adjust it the way you want. I cannot tell you, do this, adjust so only your friends are seeing what you're posting, do this so nobody can find you on search. It depends on you. This is something really personal, so it depends on you to adjust this the way you want. Same thing on Twitter as well. You go on settings, go on privacy and safety, and you can adjust this the way you want. You could leave it okay, nobody can see your nobody can retweet. It depends on you. So you go over to Twitter, adjust that the way you want. Go over to Facebook as well, adjust that the way you want. And this is leading me to talking about one very interesting platform, which is LinkedIn. Anyone here on LinkedIn? When we were talking about social platforms, I'm not sure I saw LinkedIn right there. So I'll ask this question: is anyone here on LinkedIn? Do we have people here who are currently using LinkedIn? Anyone using LinkedIn? If you're using LinkedIn, please head over to the chat and let's just give a yes or just say, yeah, I'm using LinkedIn. So LinkedIn is a very, very interesting platform. And for anyone who's trying to build your personal brand and also apply for jobs, I'll tell you this is one platform you need to take really, really seriously. So LinkedIn, you could access this through Google Play or App Store, or go online and type www.linkedin.com or just linkedin.com, and you're right there creating your LinkedIn professional profile. So creating a professional profile on LinkedIn is very, very easy. So this is a social network that focuses on professional networking and career development. Professional networking and career development. So this is where you have that. I would say it's like your online CV. So you can build your profile, highlight your experience, build your network, share content, and you can also explore and apply to job listings. You could turn on notifications to get new updates related to this job, and every day, or depending on the frequency you want, you're actually receiving updates when there's a new job or a new listing in digital marketing in South Africa, in digital marketing in Cape Town, in digital marketing in Kenya. Could be remote job. You're trying to get a remote job in a different location entirely. So you can actually adjust that. So LinkedIn is a very, very powerful platform. I would say it's very, very advisable. Everyone here, if you're trying to build a professional profile, you're also trying to network, you're also trying to grow your network, and you're all about career development, I would advise you to get on LinkedIn as soon as possible. So when it comes to creating a professional profile on LinkedIn, you want to have that headline, which is like a point of impression, and it should be like a clear description of what you do. You do not need to come in right here on the headline and you are saying, oh, my name is Tony, I do this and do that. You have your about, where you can actually include that. Also, in your experience, you could actually include what you've done, your role, your employment type, is it a contract job, the company name, location, and dates as well. So your headline has to be concise. Okay, this is who you are. You're a data analyst. You are this. You're a digital marketer. You're an HR person. I mean, your headline has to be really, really concise, and always good to have that professional, clear picture, that headshot, very professional one. I mean, it's not necessarily one where you are dancing. LinkedIn is not lifestyle focused. So having that profile picture idea, you might not want to show where you are dancing and vibing. I don't know, but it's always good to have that very, very professional headshot photo and have that very, very simple headline. The about section is where you go to talk about yourself, and also when it comes to experience, this is where you include your role, contract type, is it employment type, is it a contract job, is it a full-time job, company name, location, and dates. Now, I know most of us joining actually university students, and we're like, okay, where do I get this experience from and all? So when we get to the CV, because most of us would say, oh, we've not actually held this role, or we're still in school and we've not done this. I'll tell you that some things you're actually doing already would form part of experience, so you can actually highlight. So took a course recently on a Google career certification recently on project management, which is also something I would advise you to take if you want to. And I got to realize that even something as planning a wedding, organizing a party, you could organize an event right there, an award event in your department right there, and Univen. And all this is a project you're actually handling. So you could come out tomorrow and say, I do not have any experience in project management, but you've actually handled an event, a big event right there where the VC or even the head of department was there. And you had to work with a whole lot of stakeholders. You had to work with a whole lot of people. It could even be that you're moving from this place to another place. It's actually a project. So a lot of what we're already doing forms part of experience. It doesn't have to be a formal experience. Yeah, this is not something you could highlight on LinkedIn. It could get onto your CV. So let's get going. We'll get to that. When it comes to LinkedIn, making connections is key. Grow your contacts. Always make sure you're connecting with potential leads and messaging. And I'll tell you one very good thing: when you connect with someone on LinkedIn, always leave a message. Tell the person, and LinkedIn will tell you, you're trying to connect with Tony, for example, right now. LinkedIn will tell you it's always good to leave a note before connecting. Okay, so Tony could remember. So I could leave a note. Okay, I'm trying to connect with Emmanuel. Hey, Emmanuel, thank you so much for moderating the session today. I just found your profile on LinkedIn and I would love to connect. So that way, I've left a message for Emmanuel. Emmanuel seeing that would remember immediately, oh, this is Tony. I worked with him yesterday or some days ago. After that connection, it doesn't just end there. Let's say 2-3 years, next 5 years, and I need Emmanuel to make an introduction for me. I'm trying to apply to this role. And I see Emmanuel is connected to the CEO, and I would love Emmanuel to put in some good words for me or just help me out with, some tips or whatever. I could just go over to Emmanuel's message, DM, and tell him, hey, Emmanuel, remember me? Then Emmanuel looking at the chat would remember, yeah, we met. So it sets the tone for you to have further engagement and discussions with that person in future. So whenever you're connecting, it could be someone who came to the school to speak to you, and it's someone who you'd want to stay connected with. And you go over on LinkedIn, you find a person, you could leave a note, hey, thank you, Ma, you gave a great presentation yesterday. My name is Sis, I would love to connect with you. The person would likely answer. And 2-3 years in future, whenever you have something to discuss with that person, they would always find that message and like, yeah, I connected with this person in Univen. Oh, how can I help? So always, this is the tip I'm leaving right here. Always good when you're connecting to leave that note. Always good. So here are some do's and don'ts when it comes to sharing on professional social medias. Especially on LinkedIn, it's always advisable to post content regularly, keep it professional, nurture this relationship. Like I said, this is a relationship. You're not just going there, send that connection request, and maybe after 2-3 years, you come back to the person and say, hey, I need this. I'm now in Nairobi, and please, I will need you to guide me with this and that. And the person now, you've connected with the person 5 years ago, you've never had any conversation. Always good to send that note or leave that message while you're connecting, and try as much as possible to nurture the relationship. Once in a while, you could send a check-in message, hey, just checking in to know how you're doing. People would appreciate that. Have that professional headshot as well. And when it comes to the don'ts, do not send irrelevant messages. Do not wake up tomorrow after connecting and you're like, hey, hello, Ma, how's your day going? I hope you're fine. Thank you. 2 days, next 2 days, next 3 days, next week, you're doing this. I mean, this is a professional platform, and we are all heading there to connect, grow our network, and find jobs as well. So no one on LinkedIn has that time. So make sure you're not actually sending lots of irrelevant messages. Do not criticize others or be negative. Employers are going to be looking at LinkedIn a whole lot, especially going through your LinkedIn profile to see what you've been posting, what you've done, and all. Make sure you do not go on and send a message, oh, I see you viewed my profile. Maybe someone views your profile, you go on, hey, I see you viewed my profile. What's up? Do you do that? Do not go on and post personal content, I would say, where you're eating on LinkedIn. We are eating, I'm like, yeah, chilling with this chapati, chilling with this. And, I mean, that's really personal. You might do that on WhatsApp, but not sure on LinkedIn. So when it comes to sharing content does matter. Use relevant hashtags. Do not use an hashtag you're trying to something related to entrepreneurship. You are using different hashtags, data analytics, digital marketing, and all. Those are actually relevant hashtags to the topic or where you're posting. Make it visual as well. If you can use images, you have videos to go behind these images. Very good. You can also start or join conversations. Look at comments, look at posts, join conversations. That's how you get seen. by being very active. So you could start conversations, make a post, or you could join conversations as well. You see a post, okay, you feel you have something to say about this, you join. I mean, people are looking at comments and they could like spot you and like, this person, I like this person's view. I think, let me just check this person's profile and see if we could just onboard this person. So sharing content does matter. Now let's look at these two posts, because content matters, right? But we have to be careful when sharing some kind of content. So this is John Soap, who's a digital designer, UI, UX. Yeah. John Soap is saying, goes on LinkedIn and says, it's so happy listening to T4F while pretending to work. So happy listening to T4F while pretending to work. And John Soap's boss is on LinkedIn. So let's see what John Soap's boss would now say. This is a nice status update. How stupid can you be? You can fool me, but when you act in total disrespect to the hardworking people, abuse the environment, then you have crossed the line. John Soap, John Soap. Would you want to be in John Soap's shoe? For me, I wouldn't want to be in John Soap's shoe. So this kind of content is a no-no for me. Let's look at Jane Doe. Jane Doe is an account manager, and she goes on to LinkedIn to say, I love when I can hear my boss talking on the phone at work. As long as I can hear her on the phone, I know it means she's not going to sneak up behind me and see how many web browsers I have open. Jane Doe. Now, Jane Doe's boss comes on LinkedIn, says this and says, I love when my employees post things like this on LinkedIn. I'll need to see you in my office at 4, your boss. Would you ever want it to get to 4 p.m. if you are Jane Doe? You've posted this and now your boss is telling you she would want to see you. I wouldn't want to be in Jane Doe's shoes as well. So let's know what we post online. Content matters, but let's be very careful what we post online. Very, very careful. So going to take a pause right here and see if there are any questions for me. Any questions? Any questions? Any questions? Just going to check in and see if there are any questions. If there are none, I'm just going to proceed. But just so we're clear, feel free, please feel free to ask questions as we progress. Asking questions is part of learning, so feel free to ask your questions as we progress along with this session. So feel free. Emmanuel is right there. I see a lot is happening on the chat already, so Emmanuel is right there helping already, but feel free to still drop those questions. If you have any question, always feel free to drop them right there on chat. Just going to proceed right now and head over to the next section on this, which is writing your professional CVs. How do you craft that professional CV of yours? So I'm backing this up with a question right now. What information should you include in your CV? What information do you think you need to include in your CV? Remember, we're crafting, this is all about crafting a professional CV. So what information do you think you should include in your CV? Could you talk about your strengths, some personal information? I mean, I don't know. You tell me. So you head over to the chat and let us know what information should you include in your CV. What information do you think you should have right there on your CV? Head over to the chat and engage with Emmanuel. A lot is happening on the chat. Let's keep that energy going. It's really an interesting session. Loving every bit of this. When it comes to building your professional CV, you'd want to have your personal information right there. Your name, contact information, also a header and a summary. You'd also want to highlight your experience, your work experience, your academic history, your achievements, of course. Highlight your strengths as well, your personal strengths, your soft skills, hard skills also, your hobbies and your interests. Activities and what you're passionate about, what value you can bring. And this should not be more than 5. Do not go in and tell us, you love skating, you love this, you love traveling. You have up to 50, 30 hobbies right there. It gets too much. So always good to limit it to like 5. That's very ideal. So personal information, experience, strengths, hobbies and interests. These are things you should include in your CV. So when it comes to personal information, it's all about information about you, general information. It could be your name, your address, your age, nationality. If you want to add your driver's license, totally fine. Ways to contact you, of course. How can you have a CV and there is no way to contact you? I'll tell you something from my personal experience. First time after school applying for a job, I missed out something right here. and I didn't get that job. I got a call actually. This is a personal story. I got a call actually. And after that, I didn't hear from them again. Then I sent a follow-up mail, and thank God the HR was kind enough to leave a review for me. You skipped this on your personal information. You didn't add this. You didn't add this, and we are sorry. So that was. I mean, there's this saying that no failure, just feedback. So that was good feedback for me. So it's very good to include, because how would you have a CV? You do not include your email. You do not include. How do you want them to contact you? Your full name, your address. Very ideal to add this personal information. What's your experience? What did you do? What did you achieve? And how does this relate to the role you're applying for? It's not just about going and saying, I was this, I was a sales executive, I did this, I was the DOS in school, I did this. What did you achieve in that role? So there's this quote by the CEO at Upscale Digital, Gori Yahaya. Going to be paraphrasing here. It says that effective CVs do not list roles, they don't just list roles, they list accomplishments also. So what did you achieve? It's ideal when you're listing your roles to back that up with achievement. I was able to do this, I was able to do this. I was able to host the best event in school, and after that we got a rating of 500% and all. Able to host the best award event after managing the project. We got this XYZ rating. What did you achieve? How does it relate to the role you're actually applying for? Always look for one way to tie that achievement into the role you're actually applying for. So when it comes to translating experience to strength, we have tangible experiences. This is your human experience in work, education, or life. Like I mentioned, experience must not be that you've worked here, you've worked here. What you're doing in school, some of the activities you're undertaking, moving out and all, especially when it comes to project management, got to learn that even moving out, I mean, that's something you could actually highlight as, oh, I was able to, when I was moving out, I did this. I planned this wedding for my sister, I did this in school. I worked with the HOD on this. I helped my lecturer on this. Worked on this project with my supervisor. I mean, these are experiences you can actually highlight. So you do not just need to wait till you've done this job in a corporate setting and before you can say, yes, I have that experience. Reflection also, consider what you did well and how it can be applied in other roles. What did you do well in that role and how can it be applied, especially in the role you're applying for? And what transferable skills do you have? This could be soft skills, it could be hard skills. It could be that you're a great team player, you're good with analytic tools and all. I mean, always make sure you highlight this, and all this would go on to contribute to a strong professional profile. You are a creative person. I mean, you worked with this team, you did this, and you came up with this idea. At the end of the day, you achieved this result. They are already seeing that, yeah, indeed, this person is actually creative to have done this, faced this challenge, come up with this idea, and navigated this way. So doesn't just boil down to the experience you have in the corporate setting. So leading me right now to this question, what are your top 3 strengths and why? What would you consider as your top 3 strengths and why? These are things you need to ask yourself when you're crafting your CV. What are your top 3 strengths? You get asked these questions a whole lot, or you need to actually highlight this. Are you someone who's trustworthy? You have high level of enthusiasm? Are you creative? Are you a creative person? Are you disciplined? Do you have? Are you someone who's very, very patient? Are you respectful? I mean, there's a whole lot. So you highlight that. What are your strengths and why? Do not just say my strengths are this. Always make sure you add something behind that, and someone who's disciplined and all, and you leave it that way. What are your top 3 strengths and why? This is something you could also reflect on. You could pop that writing on the chat. Manuel is there to engage with you. But if not, you could just go over after this session, think about this. Reflect on this. What are your top 3 strengths and why? And always make sure when you are crafting your CV, you highlight that. Creating a CV is now, you have lots of templates, and I'll tell you, Google docs.google.com, docs.google.com, you head over there and you'll find templates. Creating a CV has become really easy right now. So you do not need to go on and, you style this way, you use this font. You have everything designed for you right there on Google Doc. All you need to do is come up with the write-up and then add it to the relevant spaces right there. So when it comes to creating a CV with Google Doc, you could download it. There's an application for it as well, the Google Doc app. Use the CV template, enter the information into the template, and save as PDF. People still send CVs as Word and all. This is something I could open and I'm trying to, I'm a hiring manager, or I'm an intern, and I'm the one who's started with the responsibility of going through the CV, then moving it over to the hiring manager. I open your CV, mistakenly click on it, enable edit, and maybe I just type something mistakenly, and before you know it, I've forwarded it or saved. I don't know. I mean, anything could happen. So that's it when you're leaving your CV on Word format. So always advisable to save your CV on as PDF. PDF. Please. If you've not done this, go back, change that CV of yours, save it in PDF format, and you can make various copies. CV you're using for this, people would have one CV for every role. You're applying to this company, that company has a different culture entirely. The next company has a different culture entirely. These are different companies, and you might want to proceed with different CVs. Could be that with this you are going as a data analyst, or in the next one you're actually going as a UI UX person. Maybe you are good with these two fields, and you're using the same CV for all. Different companies, different job descriptions, different roles, and you're using the same CV. You've done. Always good to have different copies, and make sure whenever you're applying for a job, go over your CV, try as much as possible, edit it, and see that you're actually making sure what you have right there is related to the job and also in line with the culture of the company you're applying to. So creating a digital CV on mobile, like I mentioned, is easy. There's that template right there. You could download the Google Doc application. You can find it right there on Play Store or on your iOS store. So select that template you like, edit the content, save and export to PDF. Please, PDF. Remember, save and export to PDF. And then you have your CV right there. And just going to be pausing right now to see if there are any questions from me. Remember, do make that reflection. What are your top 3 strengths and why? Do not just come in and, oh, my strengths are these, I'm good with these, someone who's respectful and this. Why would you consider that your strengths? What are your top 3 strengths and why? This is something you need to reflect on, and always make sure that's reflected on your CV. Moving on to the last part of this section, which is crafting cover letters. How do you go about crafting cover letters? I mean, most times for some jobs while you're applying, you'll be required to write a cover letter or draft a cover letter or attach a cover letter to your CV. So how do you go about crafting that cover letters? Let's dive right into that. But I have a question before I proceed right here. What do we use a cover letter for? What do we think you'd use a cover letter for? Cover letter. We might have been seeing this, applying for some jobs, and you're like, okay, this is the letter I should just have behind, and this is how I should address the letter. It's just a normal letter. What do we actually use a cover letter for? I'd love to hear from you. You head over to the chat. Emmanuel is doing a great job engaging with everyone, and you all have been actually totally amazing, dropping contributions right there on the chat, asking questions and engaging with Emmanuel, of course. So what do we use a cover letter for? Would love to hear your contributions. You head over to the live chat and drop those contributions while I go ahead and tell you what a cover letter is. So a cover letter is actually the easiest way. Attention, the easiest way to stand out from the crowd. Now, it lets your employer learn more about you, your personality, and also gain insight as to why you're applying for this job. I'm not sure you can highlight every single thing on your CV. It's going to be too much. But a cover letter is now where you have the opportunity to sell yourself now. Tell the hiring manager why you're passionate about this job. This is the opportunity they have to gain more insight about you. And if whenever you're applying for a role and you are required to have a cover letter behind it, it's a great opportunity. Most people feel, oh, cover letter, why? I like roles where I do not need to even post or send a cover letter. This is the easiest way for you to stand out, and it's going to let that employer learn more about you, your personality, and also gain insights as to why you are actually, this is why I'm applying for this job. I'm passionate about this, passionate about helping people, I'm passionate about growing people. I've actually done volunteer jobs here, I've done volunteer trainings in my community and all, and I would love to work with your organization on this. That way they are saying, oh, you're already relating it to what the company does, and they're saying this is something you are actually already passionate about. You're not just coming into this to start exploring the world of helping people and all, and making an impact. This is something you've actually had going along for some time now. So 45% of recruiters say that a lack of cover letter will result in a rejected CV. 45% of this is not Tony saying this. 45% of recruiters are saying that lack of cover letter will actually result in a rejected CV. So you do not have a cover letter, your CV is a 55% chance that that CV of yours might be rejected. So 45% of recruiters are saying that a lack of cover letter will result in a rejected CV. Is this what you actually want? For your CV to be rejected, it's good to learn the rudiments. It's good to learn how to craft these cover letters, and it's so easy to draft. Let's see how to go about this. So these are some of the building blocks for a cover letter. Very, very, very easy. You start with that, exchanging pleasantries, the hi, hello, and all. Then you head over to the introduction. This is how you should structure your cover letter. Summarize yourself. This is Tony. This is what I do. This is what I'm passionate about. The problems and the solution. Okay, these are some of the challenges you feel the organization is facing, and these are some of the solutions you can actually profile. Relevant achievements, and then you sign off. Let's explore all of this. Now the hi, hello, pleasantries, and all. Now, if you know the name of the person you're writing to, use it. Otherwise, if you don't, go on and use to whom it may concern. Do not go on and think, assume. Assumptions are not facts. Do not go on and assume, yeah, I think the hiring manager for this company is Jane. Yeah, I think. You go online, you search, you might see Jane. You do not know if Jane has changed roles yesterday or Jane will be changing roles. If you are not very, very sure, 100% certain, do not know the person you are writing to, always advisable to use to whom it may concern. Then you now have the introduction. Who are you and what do you do? What are you interested in? What job are you actually applying for? How did you hear about the role? How did you hear about the company? What do you know about the organization? So this is where you have that opportunity to introduce yourself, introduce who you are, what you're doing, how you heard about the job. It could be that it's an in-house recruitment. It wasn't actually made public, and you could say you heard from a friend or a friend of yours who is actually working right there in the organization. And also, always good. After hello and all, pleasantries, introduce yourself, and then summarize yourself. Describe what's important to you, what's actually very important to you, what are you good at. Tell yourself here, what do you enjoy and why are you now applying for this role? Why are you applying? This is like a career progression for you. Have you been doing this volunteering? This is something you've been doing and you want to do this in a bigger capacity right now, make more impact or why are you actually applying for this role? These are not things you would be able to include in your CV. I'm not sure you can include in your CV. Where are you going to put that? Are you going to put that in your experience section where you actually have roles? You cannot add this to your CV. So this is where you have an opportunity to add this. Summarize yourself and make sure you state exactly why you are applying for this role. Look at the problem, explain why you are actually the ideal candidate. There are lots of candidate job. It's so saturated. Lots of people coming out every year from the university applying for different roles. So you want to stand out and you want to get that foot in. And now you are crafting a cover letter. You need to make sure you actually include every single detail. So explain why you are the right candidate, the job description, the language used, the company, what you know about the company, you've done some research. Some challenges in the industry. Okay, this is the challenge in the industry, and this is what you think. You can actually do this. You've been faced with this. You've actually been faced with a similar challenge in your previous role while doing this personally, and this was how you were able to navigate it. Your work and personal skills for the job. What skills do you have that suits that job? What are some of the personal skills you have? You could include your strengths here as well. What are some of the strengths you have? You could also, some would ask you, I've had an instance at some point where I've seen, okay, include your weakness in your cover letter. So you could include your strength and your weakness. It depends on what they actually, if they specified for that. But this is the point where block 4 is where you need to explain why you are the right candidate for that job. Then list your relevant achievements. Remember, effective CVs and cover letters and all, even on your LinkedIn, you do not just list roles, you also list achievements. you do not just list roles, you list achievements. So what are some of the certifications you have? That's an achievement as well. And you've had this certification, this maybe it's a company that they're looking for someone who loves learning. This is a role where you need to keep learning. And they've seen that, oh, after school, you've gone on to have this certification, or even while in school, you've gathered a good number of certifications related to that role. And they're like, yeah, this is someone who's very much invested and interested in learning and upskilling and helping his or herself. Volunteering opportunities you've had, what you've done, your achievements, you're able to achieve this in this role, you're able to achieve this while in school, while serving as the director of socials, or while just serving as the class rep or course rep. Languages, your skills, your hobbies, and your interests. This is where you list all of those. And after this, you now do what? You sign off. Could be in this way. I'm honored to be considered for this position. I look forward to hearing from you, and please let me know if you would like any more information about me. Many thanks. Then you put your name, Victor, Tony, Jessica, Francis, and that's a great cover letter you have right there. Signed off correctly, included everything. You introduced yourself, you summarized yourself, you highlighted the problem and the solution in the industry, sold yourself as why you are the ideal person for this role. You highlighted your relevant achievements, what you've done, volunteer opportunities, what you've achieved, your certifications, and all. And then you sign off. And there you go. You have that cover letter, which you can actually attach to that CV of yours and start applying for those jobs, building your brand on social media, building your brand, checking your digital footprint, crafting that great CV, and also backing it up with a cover letter. Apply, and then your chances are high of securing that dream job of yours. So, going to have this final pause for questions right now to see if there are any questions here. Emmanuel has been taking on all and every single question right there on the chat. Whoop! A whole lot has been happening on the chats. Shibambo, I believe it's more of a detailed document on how your skill aligns with the role you're applying for. And I see that's Shibambo actually talking about cover letters. Yes, it's a detailed document actually talking about how your skills, highlighting how your skills align with the role you're actually applying for. Arika Karim is saying, thanks, I'm enjoying your tips for LinkedIn usage. LinkedIn is a great platform, I'll tell you. Gotten lots of opportunities from LinkedIn, a whole lot of opportunity from LinkedIn, especially if you position yourself well on LinkedIn. I'll tell you, you do not even need to go about applying for roles. Recruiters are going to be the one poaching and looking for you, looking at your profile, sending, inviting you for interviews, giving you offers and all. So LinkedIn is one platform I would advise everyone to be very, very, very be interested in LinkedIn. Build that professional profile on LinkedIn. And while you're connecting, remember to leave that note. Do not just go on and connect for the sake of connecting. It's better to have 500 real connections than to have 10,000 people connect indiscriminately. Connect. Better to have a few connections who you're actually very connected with. You know this person, you send a message to them, you know you can go back tomorrow and say, hey, Manuel, or hey, Victor, we both did this, or you came to our university to talk about this 5 years ago. I see you are now in this company. I'm actually applying for this role. Are there tips you could leave for me for the interview process or the recruitment process? I would help. The person would help. So that's how it happens. And always make sure you are very, very active on these platforms as well. So any other questions? If there are any questions, there's been lots of contributions that I've seen. Emmanuel has done a great job taking on all the questions right there on chat. So let me see if I would have a question. I would ask you right now, when it comes to highlighting your experience, does it necessarily have to be an experience in a formal setting? Yes or no? When it comes to talking about your experience, because most of us, I believe, this is for Univen, the University of Venda, and most of you are actually students. So after school, coming out, yeah, you do need to include that experience where on your CV, talk about it on your cover letter. Do you think after this session, do you think you still have to, it must be an experience in a corporate setting where you worked at this company? Because most of us actually do cite that as a challenge and we say, okay, yeah, I'm just finishing school, I graduated last year, or just graduated last month, I do not have any experience. Even while going for the interview, you might be asked, so any experience in this role? Have you done anything similar? Do you think it's something that has to be in a corporate setting? I did mention, I did mention that experiences you're having, what you're already doing in school, some of the activities you're doing, some of what you actually engage with in school. You could be a director of social, you could be doing this, you could be working on a project, you could be doing this with your HOD, or you have this community, you have this group you read together with, or you do this, and you're actually managing this team, or you have this team of 5 or 10 people, and you come together, this study group. That's showing that you're a great team player, of course. So I mean, that's something you can actually highlight. So it doesn't necessarily have to be that you show that you're a great team player when you've worked for this company or you worked for that company. Having that study group, understanding that, yeah, you do not just need to listen to your own point of view, everyone wins together. That's something you can actually highlight and say, yeah, you're a great team player, you had a study group while in school and you're able to do this after, and at the end of the day you all graduated with this, and I mean, you all excelled in flying colors. That's showing result as well and showing achievements behind that. So I have a question right here from Karim. How do we reach out to recruiters or employers for positive feedback? So if are you talking about people, Karim, please help me out here. Are you talking about, you are actually, is this a case where you're actually employed and you need to get a feedback, or you actually applied for a role and maybe you went for an interview or you weren't actually called after? If that's the case, you could send a mail, ask for a feedback. When it comes to feedback, the thing is to ask, whether in business, career, or whatever, feedback, ask for it. So after an interview, you could ask how you did, and if they would if they can leave feedback for you, it helps a whole lot. You get better. There's no failure; it's just feedback. Maybe that's a role you're not gonna get. You could tell them, okay, is there any feedback they could profile to you? And most recruiters actually do this. They'll tell you, I'm not sure I like how you did this, how you did this, how you approached this question, or you said something really negative about your former company. This is not something you should do. So what some of them would actually naturally leave feedback for you. But if not, feel free to ask. Ask, please, is there any feedback for me? How did I do? And then I'm sure they will be glad to leave that feedback for you. So Shibambo is asking, for an entry-level job, how long should a CV be? For an entry-level job, I cannot. Some will tell you it shouldn't be more than 4 pages, 3 pages, and or 1, 2 pages. I mean, if you're just coming out, I would say at 2 pages. I cannot give an exact number and say this is how it should be. It depends. If you've done a lot, if you've actually done a lot, you have lots of relevant achievements to list on that role. But you could leave it at 2, 3 pages, I would say. You wouldn't want the CV getting to 4 or 5 pages for an entry level role. 2, 3 pages, ideal. 2, 3 pages, ideal. So you have that Google Doc template. When it comes to using templates, there's a way to actually structure everything, and it could get into 1 page. There's a way to also structure it, and it could get into 2 pages. Totally fine. So you have different blocks for this. Maybe at the left you have your achievements, at your roles and all. At the right you have this top. You have, so it could be 1 page, but I would advise it shouldn't be for an entry level role. If I'm to advise, I would say it shouldn't be more than 2 to 3 pages. And always, always, always make sure you're listing your achievements. And like I mentioned, it's not limited to what you've done in a corporate setting, what you are doing right there on school, projects you're working on, activities you're engaged with, teams you are working on. Could be that you're in a football team right there, or you're in a volleyball team, you're in a basketball team. You could actually highlight that when you're talking about your skill as a team player or your strength as a team player. I hope that helps, Karim and Shimbambu. I hope that really does help. And thank you so much for the questions. It's a lot has happened on the live chat right there. You all have been engaging and looking forward. I think we're having another session on Friday. I'll be talking about job search online. So I'm looking forward to seeing all of you still join that session where we'll dissect and help you with how to search for jobs and also land that dream job of yours using online tools. Google, of course, is right there, and some others as well. So that's it right there. And I would ask you all right now, what are your next steps? What are you going to be doing next? What will you be doing next? Are you going to be changing that CV? Are you going to be drafting a new CV with what you've learned now? Are you going to be drafting a new cover letter with what you've learned now? Are you going to be looking at your digital footprint and making sure you're building that professional online profile? Are you going to be leveraging LinkedIn? What are you going to be doing differently? You tell me. And also, we have a learning portal, the learndigital.withgoogle.com portal. It's a Grow with Google portal where you can find different courses for free. Free courses where you can take these courses and upskill yourself, different courses for career, different courses for business and all. Personally develop yourself with these courses and add that relevance to yourself. This would also help you stand out when you're applying for jobs. So please do visit the learning portal. Emmanuel is going to be popping the link on chat, learndigital.withgoogle.com/digital skills/courses. I would advise you to visit this portal and take courses to upskill yourself. It's very, very important. And try as much as possible to implement as soon as possible. Knowledge isn't power until it's applied. That's a quote from one of my favorite authors, Dale Carnegie. Knowledge isn't power until it's applied. So come in here, you've spent an hour right now, you've learned about all this. It's going to be futile if you do not apply this. So add power to this newfound knowledge by applying it. Knowledge isn't power until it's applied. So feel free to follow us on social media on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Facebook, search for Digital Skills for Africa. Twitter, Digital Skills AF. Instagram, that's instagram.com/digital skills AF. Follow us, leave reviews, tell us how the session went. Tweet at us at Digital Skills AF. Tell us how the session went. Use the hashtag Grow with Google, Google Digital Skills. I'm going to be looking out for that, and hoping to see you in the next session on Friday. So it's been a great time with you all today. Thanks for the questions. Thanks for engaging. And if you're in South Africa, it's really cold right now. Stay warm, and I'm looking forward to seeing you all on Friday. Thank you so much. Remember, this session was delivered right in partnership with the University of Venda, Univen, which is a public institution based on Toho Yandu and in Limpopo. We're very glad to be partnering with Univen, the University of Venda, on this, and we have sessions coming up on Friday and on Monday. So looking forward to seeing you all join us on Friday and Monday as well. And enjoy the rest of your day. Stay warm. All the best. Thank you so much. And remember, implementation is key. So thanks for myself and Emmanuel on the chat. Thank you. And Glenn was behind the scene. Thanks so much, and enjoy the rest of your day. So catch you later. Bye.